Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Kim here, and today is our Thrifty Canucks video, and I have a few good things today. It's a small haul this time because I didn't get a chance to go very much this week, but that's okay. I have a couple of good events coming up soon. One of them is the 70-kilometer garage sale that is on September 20th in PEI. So there's a couple of gals and myself are going to that, and hopefully we'll find all kinds of goodies there. It'll be 70 kilometers of nothing but joy and probably lots of crowds. So for today's thing, I did go to a couple of thrift shops, and I did go to my flea market that opened on this past Sunday, so I scored a few things from there, and I did stop at an antique shop, so I'm going to show you all of those things. And Thrifties, there's going to be some goodies in here for you as well. Now these I paid, I think I paid $3 for this one and $4 for this one, and they are brand new wired ribbon rolls. Beautiful colors, aren't they? And this is what, 2.5 inches wide, approximately. But a beautiful ribbon. This is, now what I like to do with this wired edge ribbon is I take the wire out on, well, I cut a length that I want first, and then I take the wires out on both sides, and I use this for making belly bands because, you know, it's nice and stiff, and it stitches to the page and glues to the page really nicely. Sometimes I stitch it, sometimes I staple it, and then I cover the staples with embellishments and stuff. But it's a really nice weight to use as a belly band, whether you're using it the lengthwise or even, you know, horizontally. So either way, it's nice for that. So this comes 50 feet, so it's 15 meters. So if any of my thrifties would like a yard of this, just say, I don't know, burgundy damask fabric ribbon. That'll let me know which one you want. Oh, there's only two. So it's either the green or the burgundy. So the green one, same thing. Now this was originally $14.99, but I think I paid $4 for this. This has got 50 yards on it. So there again, Thrifties, if you would like a yard of this, I'm going to save a lot of this for my slow stitching packages that come up, because I can cut some nice size pieces for you to embellish. So if I cut like a 12-inch piece, I can fold it up with the wire in there. But this would be a really nice piece to start decorating and adding other things to it to make your own slow stitch fancy belly bands or snippets or however. So yes, Thrifties, if you would like a yard of this, just let me know, and I will put those aside for you. But yeah, I've got a formula ready now for my slow stitching, so I'm hoping to get started on those. Maybe next week I'll start working on them, but for the most part they will be at least a month before I get them done. I know that for sure. Now I need to put this in the bag because I have to put that stuff away. And this was a fun find. It is another bed sheet, but look at the color of this thing. Isn't this gorgeous? Can you say wild thing? So I am again going to offer a strip, a shabby ribbon strip with a piece of fabric that's big enough to work on as a cover, because this would make a spectacular cover. If you've got your felt underneath it, it's the right color that, you know, you don't see through it, and you can do so much embellishing on here with slow stitching. So I'm going to save a piece for myself, but I could see making these into some really gorgeous covers for sure. So Thrifties, if you want this, it'll be a shabby ribbon and a cover piece, which is around 15 or 12 by 20 Sometimes if I can pull 15, then I pull 15 by 20. I do whatever I can to get the maximum. And then if there are little pieces like this seam part here, I usually cut that off because they're never really 100% straight. So I usually cut this part off. So pieces like this would go into my slow stitching kits that I'm going to be making up. So that'll be a fun kit as well. When I get to this part of it. So yes, Thrifties, if you want a piece of this, it'll be the shabby ribbon, just like I've been doing with a cover piece, as best as I can get. And I have a lot of scarves. I have a lot of pashmina scarves, but I couldn't resist this one because it's so sparkly. And so this one said to me, you know, this would be nice for doing slow stitching. It looks a little bit on the red side on this side, but it picks up more the pink on this side. I hope you can see that. It's got, you know, the threads are intermixed. So you see a little pink and a little bit of red depending on how you turn it. I don't know what you're going to see on the camera because sometimes I look back at these and I think, oh my gosh, that is not the color of that thing. And but this is very pretty. It's got both colors. So this I'm going to save for slow stitching and cut it up. I've decided I've got so many beautiful scarves that I really want to cut them up and start using them more for slow stitch pieces. Although this one would be nice for a cover too, but I have a lot of covers and I wouldn't have enough to do all the Thrifties with this one. So this will go into the slow stitching kit. Another one going into these slow stitching kits. I'll tell you, these kits are going to be amazing if I ever get them all done. This was adorable. I think I paid $3 for this. Yeah, $2.99. Look at the little pants. Of course, the pants are going to get cut up into pieces, but I have to wash all this first. There's the pants. Yeah, they got some soil marks on them. So I will wash them first, and if they don't come out, they go into my stockpile to use. But once they're clean, I will cut this again into slow stitching pieces, because here is the dress. Now, it's just a little girl's dress. There's the top, so I will keep the top for myself to use and you know, further embellish with. To make a book cover. So I will use this whole top piece for that. The bottom piece has all these appliques in it around the whole dress, front and back. So they are a nice size applique that is just waiting to be further embellished. So these are all going to get cut out and put into my slow stitching kits. And so they will come with a little piece of tulle around them so that you have something to work with where you want to maybe stitch it down and maybe have a little bit of the tulle sticking up, because that would be fun in itself too, sort of pillowing it up a little bit. But it comes with all of that all around the whole skirt. Oh, not on the back, but there's lots. So I will definitely use these for slow stitching kits. So when I get to them, the kits are going to be quite interesting. They're going to have pieces of fabric, all color coordinated. Some will be just like one color, whereas others will be combination of colors. A lot of people have been saying blue. They would like to see blues and teals and greens. So that I'm going to focus on those as well. But, you know, once I start making them, I'll be making them in every color, because I have a lot of small pieces of fabric that I would like to use up. So that will be part of the kit makeup, is for me to use things up and get it done with. But this dress has the lining underneath it. This is a polyester. Yeah, it's got a bit of a stretch in here too. I use this mostly for making shabby ribbons. That's what I do, is well, not shabby ribbons, shabby ruffles, ruffled trims. So that's what I use these linings for mostly, but I do also cut them up in strips to use for making tassels. I got to make some tassels one of these days. I'm getting very low on tassels. So this also comes with this trim around the bottom, and again, I will probably just take it all off completely and then cut it up into pieces to put in some of these kits. So I thought that was a fun little piece to work with there. And that is all my fabric stuff, and that was kind of where I got from my different thrift shops that I went to. So you see, not a huge amount, but I'm going to pause the camera for a second, and I'm going to get the rest of the stuff from the market. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So I went to the flea market. I did buy a few things, but some stuff was just for me. So I put it away. It has nothing to do with thrifting or junk journaling. It's more my personal stuff. And I did buy a couple of gifts there, so I put those away. Don't want to show everybody everything online. But I stopped by my buddy John, and he had a couple of books for me this time around because he knows, he actually watches my video. So John, if you're watching, this is a hello from me to you, and showing off what I got from you. So Audubon Birds and Audubon Animals. This is a book by the Dandelion Library. Fun book. I never knew these books would go upside down and the opposite way, so you can read them from both sides. I learned that from Laura, one of my subscribers, and but this is very lovely images in here. So I will cut this up, and Thrifties, if you want a couple pieces of this, just let me know, and I will share this with you. You're going to be getting lots in this batch if you want it. So it doesn't smell. Yeah, no smell. Just, when I say doesn't smell, it has that, that vintage smell that's not, it's not offensive. But there are a few things in here that are quite strong that I will explain about in a second. 1968. When you turn it over, then it's the Audubon Birds, and lovely images again. So I can probably cut this up and give each of my Thrifties at least one of these images out of here if you want. I'll put that down. And then this was a fun one. Vanishing Halifax. I think I paid $2 for this book. It's all illustrations of Halifax. Oh, Wanda, maybe you're going to want one of these or a couple of these. So some of them, I will keep a few for myself, but the rest I will, if any of my Thrifties want, I can add one or two of these as well to your box. Jensen is the name. I don't know what the copyright is on here. Here we go. 1968. Oh, obviously it was a good year because the other book is 1968. So if anybody would like a couple of these, let me know. And then at the flea market as well, I picked up a huge stack. It was twice as much as this of postcards. The ones that had stamps and writing and that were a little bit more vintage, I kept to put inside of my random ephemera packs when I do them up. And then I probably kept about maybe 10 or 15 for myself that I would use for my stuff. For the most part, I have a lot of postcards, so I have become very, very choosy on what I keep for myself. But I don't want to get into that. So I'm very, very choosy about what I keep for myself. And so the rest gets used either instantly in journal making, or like postcards, I will recover them. The ones that had the writing and the stamps on, I put those in the ephemera packs because they are beautiful cards. Some of them not necessarily the picture is beautiful, but the handwriting, the date, there's some from the early 1900s. Some of them have little tears in them and stuff, but they're still beautiful postcards. And if anything, people can recollage over the picture if they don't like the picture. So I keep those ones for ephemera, but this is kind of just, it's what I call, quick in and out. So I use it. These postcards are all mostly scenery, and they're mostly local. There are a few from, like, that's Prince Edward Island. There are a few from, is that the Montgomery? If that's Montgomery's house, no, it's not. But I do keep a few, that mean something to me that I can use. But for the most part, I look at these postcards as quickie, they're blank on the other side, so I can dress them up however I want. And then if I don't like the image, I can cover over top of it or collage further onto it to make it more, suitable for what I'm using it for. So these are the ones that I get out the door quickly. Because I want to see them gone. I don't need these type of postcards to show off in my journals. So they have to be decorated or finished or done something with right away. So if any of my thrifties would like, say, a 10-pack of these, I can easily do that. I'm probably got close to 100 here, so I can easily do that, and then the rest will go into my stash. But it will be a random, first one who asks for them will get the first 10 off the top, with the exception of like this. I have 3 of the same, so I won't give you the same, but that's how I would do it. 10 off the top, and so on and so on. So there's no picking. They're all the same kind of pictures. There's some buildings, like this is just a Saskatchewan map. Yeah. And unless you've seen something absolutely that you have to have, that you request, but trust me, they're all pretty much the same. There's some mountain ones and flowers and buildings. So Thrifties, 10 off the top. And they're great to use. I do use every postcard I get one way or another. So the same lady that I got these from, I got these Watkins cookbooks, and they're all the same year. Now you can't see that this one's got the date in it, I think. Yeah, they're all the same year. 1943, I think. 1943. Yeah, 1943. I think this one was 1938, believe it or not. It's the nicest one, the cleanest looking one, but it's 1938. So I use these for a variety of things. Like all of these ripped pages will go into collage. Like I will use them. I will put glue on them and glue them down to a page, so I don't worry about them being ripped or torn or having folded edges, because I will flatten it all out and collage with it right away. So that gets used up immediately. And some of these have, they're pretty rough shape. They are ripped and torn, but they have some great recipes. It's always fun to look at these books, because sometimes they actually say, oh, a bit of this or a bit of that. They don't give you an exact measurement, but for the most part, these are Watkin ones. So hopefully they give you all the. It looks like they're saying 1/4 cup. Okay, no, well, they say make dough of flour, sugar, salt, shortening, and milk. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they are giving you the amounts on here, which is surprising, because sometimes you're supposed to just assume that what you're supposed to make. But yeah, these are definitely great for collage. In the case here where they've got these little recipes, they are fun to glue down and make into like little tuck things that you can put into journals if you're doing a cookbook journal. Love the coloring on these pages. Here's another loose one. I picked out lots of little handmade or handwritten recipes in here, and they just went into my ephemera because I have a good collection of that as well. But some of them are fun to look at, because when people take the time to write out the recipe, you know it's good, especially when it's all stained with all the different ingredients that went into to putting that recipe together. So I will have those in upcoming ephemera packs. They just automatically go into that same box. So Thrifties, if you would like to have, say, a 10-pack of pages of this as well, you can specify if you want the stained, dirty ones, or if you want the pretty clean ones. So, because this one's in pretty good shape. So that I will work out with you. And I will give you, and I don't want to go into too much of the pictures, because I don't want somebody asking for something and then I can't give it to you. But I will give you, in the 10-pack, I will include 1 page of the colored images that are in these books, because there are enough to give you each one of these, no problem. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for. So you can say 10 pages from the dirty Watkins book or 10 pages from the clean Watkins book. It's up to you. But either way, you'll get 10 and a picture. Okay? And, 10 doesn't sound like much, but it is. It's lots, especially, if I'm doing this all the time and you get 10 pages of this, 10 pages of that, that's plenty for doing your journals. And 10 pages times, I've got 6 Thrifties right now on the go. I think 6 or 7, 6, I think. So that's 60 pages. So it's probably close to half of one book right off the hop. And those are the type of pages that I will use in upcoming ephemera books, packs and stuff. So they do get distributed pretty quickly. So this next one is I stopped at a antique store called Wood Ships What Knots, and knots is spelled Knots. I don't know if you can see that. And she is near the town of Bouctouche, which is it's on the very eastern, a little bit more north side of New Brunswick. Not high north, but, northern compared to where we are. Lovely lady there, and lovely shop story. And the roof of their shop is a great big ship that the owner had carved. So lovely place to stop in if you're in the Bouctouche area. And she had some really good deals. So I will visit her again. I'm going to put this under here so I can keep it. So I bought these 2 Chatterbox books from her. And she did give me a good deal on them because they are falling apart. And when I told her what I was going to do with them, she didn't cringe because I didn't take the good ones. I just took the ones that were in rough shape. So this one is from 1911. And yeah, the cover is falling apart, so I will keep the cover to do a journal with. I love this. Audrey from Uncle Tim. Looks like Uncle Tim or maybe it's Uncle Tom. My husband is Tom. 1911. Merry Christmas. And so this was from 1911. There are not a lot of colored prints in here. The last copyright is 1911, but the original copyright was from 1978. I don't think, there's not a lot of colored images in here, if that's the only one. So I will probably keep that for my use. These do not smell. No, it's just vintage smell. They don't smell. And so, again, Thrifties, if you would like a 10-pack, I will try to give you a 10-pack where I give you text on one side and an image, at least one image on the other side. But please, I can't guarantee what image you're going to get. See, this one has some coloring on it. I hope you'd be okay with that. But, it will be an image that has one image on the other side and text on the other side. So you have a choice of using either or. Is this another colored one? Oh yeah, maybe there's a couple in here. So here again, you might get a text on an image with a text. You'll always get an image with a text because there's lots of images in here. Some of them may not be perfect. So it's hit and miss, whatever you get. I do screen through these because we don't want anything. There was a picture just now showing sort of a slavery situation. I don't like that. Granted, it was of the time, but it's not something we want for our journals. So I will probably take those out and destroy them. And anything that makes, derogatory reference about people, I don't think we need cowboy and Indians. We're beyond that. And so those will just get destroyed. I won't use them, and I won't thrift or give them out to anybody. So that's just how it is. So yeah, I will give you 10 pages out of one of the books. And they're both, this one is 1908. And it must have been Uncle Tom because Audrey got one again in 1908 or she got one originally in 1908. So I'll try not to give you any of the ripped pages, but, like I said, you'll have images on one side and text on the other. So if you decide you don't want the images, you can use the text side and vice versa. So yeah, 10 pages out of the Chatterbox books. I have lots of collage to do because I like to try and use those up right away. So the next one to show you is these little books here. I love these. So I will give each of my thrifties one of these. It's called Notes on the Cathedrals. Now they're all different, so don't ask me for anything specific. You will just get one. There's lots of little pictures in here. And then the cover has writing on both sides. I mainly want these books for the cover. So I plan to do something with this cover. Now I don't know what year this is. Maybe I can actually scan them. I'll have to look it up and see. They might be old enough that I can actually scan the covers, which would be fun too. But I will give my thrifties each one of these. I picked up a lot of them. And you'll get one in perfect shape. There are a couple that are like this one's got a torn cover. That's okay. I will use that for my own use. And then same with this one. It's got holes in it. That one I'll use for my use. No problem. I will probably scan this and then fix it up on the computer so that it doesn't look like this. But yeah, you'll get one of these if you would like one. So Notes on the Cathedrals. It's just a little mini book that you can take the guts out and use the image individually like postcards, and then use the cover to make another little notebook if you like. So just remind me, Notes on the Cathedrals. And the last one, not the best today, but the most interesting and the most stinky. These have a bit of a musty smell. So if I do send some to you, if you do decide you want some of these pages, I will put them rolled up in a plastic bag so they don't, smell as soon as you open the bag. But you will have to put them in a container with maybe some newspaper flyers, like, the newsprint flyers, and some baking soda, and let them sit. I put baking soda in between the pages, let them sit for a couple months. I go back and forth and I flip them around and turn them around, and they don't smell. But baking soda, I put the whole box in a whole box. The box costs you 99 cents at Dollarama, $1.29 at the most. It's not very much money at Dollarama. And I open up the box. I sprinkle some on the pages. It's gritty, so I sprinkle some on the pages. I usually put them in a plastic tub. These don't smell that bad. I'm sure if you left them in the sun, lying out for a couple of days, the scent would go out of them. But it's different for everybody where they are and how they handle them and how much they can handle the smell. But these are all pages from an Eaton's catalog back in the day. Can you imagine? This used to be toilet paper. This used to be primo toilet paper. But there are furniture, and there's fashion. So there's some fun pages. Again, I would offer 10 pages to my thrifties if you want. You would get a combination of household and fashion one way or another. From 1917. That's the catalog. Now, this is in very rough shape, but for myself, how I would do this. So here's that lovely tape that everybody just loves. I don't understand that one at all, but that's okay. I don't have to. I will take a page like this and I will glue it down to maybe a file folder. That would be a good starting point because, a file folder is a good size. So I would start gluing it all down to the point where I can actually sort of repair it, where it looks nice. And then I would start collaging to fix up where it looks really bad. So that's how I fix pages like this, is I unfold all of this stuff. Hope you can see what I'm doing here. So I can get the maximum out of this picture and glue it all down. I fix anything that's off a little bit. And once it's all glued down completely, then I will go around and decorate around the rough spots here and there. You know, I don't want to cover up the Eatons, but you know, there's nothing to say that I have to keep all of that either. I can trim it down if I don't want it, but I try to make it as nice and square as possible. And I also take into consideration, what are you going to use it for? So this is a large piece. Now I don't have my ruler here, but this is, let's just say I go from there to the bottom of her skirt where you can still see some of her hat. This would be about 11 inches if I trim all this stuff away. So that's pretty tall for a journal. So in this case, I would probably cut her down to about here, and then cut it down a little bit more, and then get it so it would fit into a sort of a 9 by 6 size. And then I would build this onto a journal cover made out of a file folder or something that is 9 by 6, so that I can then build it into a full journal cover, putting on some kind of other back. That's how I would do this. And because I really only have 6 inches to work with, you know, it's kind of tight on this one, but it's doable. I can, it's 11.5. You know, I might have to trim this down to where I can just see Eatons, or cut this out altogether. I can do that as well. Cut this out, get as much of her as I can on there, and then put Eatons somewhere down here at the bottom. That's another option. Or, you know, glue it to a little card that would tuck into here or something. So sometimes you have to know what it is you want to do with something like this and what you can take out of here. But it's certainly doable to repair this. I would never ever discard this thing. I can't work with this, because you really can. And maybe that would be one day a project. I don't know when, but maybe that would be a project for one day. But it is stinky, you know, it has to be aired out. I would never send anybody pages that look like this, because that's, you know, that's something I would fix. I wouldn't expect you to want this as part of your, you know, a part of a package. But, you know, some images come with rips and tears. Now, this one is from 1956 and 57. So there are a couple of different time periods here. So again, if thrifties want, I would give you a combination of fashion as well as household, so that it's a good mix. But you have to be prepared that it's a little bit smelly, and that you have to either deal with it or leave it somewhere where it's going to air out. You know, either way, they're fun pages to work with and fun additions. Look at this music. Isn't that hilarious? I probably had one similar to this. I know it was in a box. And yeah, I played my Donny Osmond records on there all the time. But yeah, so, let's look at the price of it too. $59. I don't think ours was that expensive. Oh, maybe it's the $39 one. Yeah, this one was $39.50. Isn't that amazing? Look at these socks. 45 cents to 69 cents for a pair of socks. Wow. And so on and so on. So like I said, if somebody is interested, this must be part of the, yeah, this is the Eatons. Must be the toy one. No, oh no, it's everything. So I don't know what year this one is, unless it says on the inside. Yeah, this isn't the cover to it, so I'm not sure. Yeah, not sure. Postage was 3.5 cents, so I'm gathering it was probably around the 1950s. Just looking at the pictures of the items too. So yes, if Thrifties would like a 10-pack, just say so. So that is my haul for today. And, you know, I find this stuff and now I got to deal with it, of course. And so if the Thrifties take some, you're taking some of my work away from me, thank goodness. But I will continue to look for it and share it with you as we go along. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all a very creative day and a creative week. I hope you found something interesting in this batch of stuff. Leave me a comment below to tell me what you think. And I will be back and with a big load hopefully next week after this weekend's thrifting, and share that with you as well. Have a great day. Bye for now.